Time and resources are finite, and everyone wants to use them efficiently. By using optimization techniques, companies can solve supply chain problems within very less time. Optimizing is made simple with linear programming. It is the best method for performing linear optimization based on a few simple assumptions. Linear functions are known as objective functions. There is no doubt that relationships in the real world are challenging. However, the use of linear programming makes it easier to analyze such relationships. Many industries use linear programming, including energy, telecommunications, transportations, and manufacturing. Good day, everyone. This is the group for video presentation entitled Linear Programming, a Fantastic Graphical Learning, with a theme, The Dominant Story of Mathematical Theories. With the objectives or learning outcomes, first, define the linear, objective function and constraints to help attain the graphical solution. Second, solving the linear programming problems using linear equations by getting maximizations of optimal solution and maximum corresponding objective function values of the graph. Third, learning to make a graph by plotting two variables such as x and y variables through a very detailed mathematical concept. And lastly, number 4, understanding the solving and graphing of linear inequalities.
A thousand years ago, there was a kingdom, the kingdom of fairies.
Once upon a time, there was a 5 fairies who actually confused about linear programming. They are Fairy Jason and his pet named Wayne. Fairy Hannah, who has a pet named Betty. Fairy Cherlin and her pet named Beanie. Fairy Liesel and her pet named Lisa. And Fairy Brinjal and her pet named Ben. One day in the rainforest, Fairy Jason and Wormy talks a lot about linear programming. Hi, Wormy.
Hello, Fairy Jason.
How are you?
Not good.
Any problem?
No, I just confused. I don't know what my friends talk about. I think it is words linear programming.
Linear programming, mathematical modeling technique in which a linear function is maximized or minimized when subjected to various constraints. This technique has been useful for guiding quantitative decisions in business planning, industrial engineering, and to a lesser extent in the social and physical sciences. Do you know that to formulate the linear programming problems you have to: Step 1, understand problem; Step 2, describe the objective; Step 3, define the decision's variables; Step 4, write the objective function; Step 5, describe the constraints; Step 6, write the constraints in terms of the decision variables; Step 7, add the non-negativity constraints; and lastly, Step 8, maximize. Of course, linear programming has a solution, so it is a linear programming problems. To solve that, it is required to get the optimal solution and maximum corresponding objectives functions values.
So what is optimal solution?
An optimal solution to a linear program is the feasible solution with the largest objective function value for a maximized problem. Proportionality: if one item brings in a profit of X, then K items bring in a profit of KX. If one item uses Y units of resource R, then K items use KY units of resource R.
How about maximum corresponding objective function values or OFV?
The objective function in a mathematical optimization problem is the real valued function, whose value is to be either minimized or maximized over the set of feasible alternatives.
Thank you, Fairy Jason.
Thank you, Army. While Fairy Jason and Worry talking all about linear programming, Fairy Cherlin and her pet Beanie also talking about linear inequalities.
A while ago, Fairy Cherlin, my mama taught me about linear inequalities, but I can't understand her. What should I do?
Do you want me to teach you about linear inequalities, Beanie?
Can you?
Of course. Do you know that in mathematics, a linear equality is an equality which involves a linear function? Or a linear equality contains one of the symbols of an equality, less than, greater than, or less than, or equal to.
But what is linear function?
A linear function has the form of fx equals ax plus b, and its graph is a straight line. Since a linear function is a continuous straight line, its domain and range would consist of all real numbers. Graphing linear functions can be accomplished by first finding the x minus and y minus intercepts.
Graph?
Like this. To graph a linear equality in two variables, say x and y, first get y alone on one side. Then consider the related equations obtained by changing the inequality sign to an equality sign. The graph of this equation is a line. If the inequality is straight, less than or greater than, graph a dashed line. If the equality is not straight, less than, equal, or greater than and equal, graph a solid line.
While Fairy Cherlin teach Beanie about linear inequalities, Fairy Hannah and her butterfly pet named Betty also talk about graphing linear inequalities.
I heard Fairy Cherlin and Beanie talk about graphing with linear inequalities.
Yes, here are the examples. Solve the systems of inequalities by graphing. Y less than or equal to x minus 2. Y greater than minus 3x plus 5. First, graph the inequality y less than or equal to x minus 2. The related equation is y equal x minus 2. Since the inequality is less than or equal to, not a straight one, the borderline is solid. Second, consider a point that is not on the line, say 0, 0, and substitute in the inequality y less than or equal to x minus 2. 0 less than or equal to 0 minus 2. This is false, so the solution does not contain the point 0, 0. Shade the lower half of the line. Similarly, draw a dashed line for the related equation of the second inequality, y greater than minus 3x plus 5, which has strict inequality. The point 0, 0 does not satisfy the inequality, so shade the half that does not contain the point 0, 0. The solution of system of inequalities is the intersection region of the solutions of two inequalities.
Wow, how do you know that, Fairy Hannah?
Now, I'm just studying.
While Fairy Hannah talk about solving linear inequalities, Fairy Liesel and also her pet name Lisa talk about linear programming problems.
Fairy Liesel, can I ask you?
What is that, Lisa?
What is linear programming problems?
It is simple, Lisa. Listen, linear programming problems in math is a system process of finding a maximum or minimum values of any variables in a function. It is also known by the name of optimization problem. LPP is helpful in developing and solving a decision-making problems by mathematical techniques.
What do you mean?
A linear programming problems may be defined as the function of minimizing or maximizing a linear function subject to the system of linear constraints. The constraints may be inequalities or equalities. The linear function is called the objective function of the form f xy close and open parenthesis is equals to ax plus by plus c.
It's good to hear, but do you have any examples of related of linear programming problems?
This. The most classic example of a linear programming problems is related to a company that must allocate its time and money to creating two different products. The products requires different amounts of time and money, which are typically restricted resources, and they sell it for different prices.
Yeah, I know that. It is also consistent a chance of things and events.
You're right, Lisa.
Thank you, Fairy Liesel.
You're welcome, Lisa.
While Fairy Liesel and Lisa talk about linear programming, Fairy Angel and her pet name Ben talk about graphing of linear programming problems.
Fairy Angel, I heard about linear programming problems. I already know about it, but I don't know how to solve and graph about it.
Oh, my poor little Ben, I will tell you about it. To solve the linear programming problems, you have the step 6. First, formulate the LP or linear programming problem. Step 2, construct a graph and plot the constraint lines. Step 3, determine the valid side of each constraint line. Step 4, identify the feasible solution region. Step 5, plot the objective function on the graph. Step 6, find the optimal point. So in overall, you need to find the optimal solution and maximum corresponding objective function values of the graph because it is required to label it. By getting the optimal solution, you have to identify the highest number of the box, and by getting the maximum corresponding objectives function values, you have to identify the x and y values.
Wow, is that how?
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, Fairy Brinjal.
You're welcome, my little man.
And all fairies and their pets have a better understanding now about linear programming, and they happily ever after. They are happy to learn about mathematics. The end. By using this technique, we can reduce or maximize a linear function subject to multiple constraints. In addition to several business planning applications, this technique can direct quantitative judgment in industrial engineering and, to a lesser extent, in social and physical sciences. Linear programming is a powerful technique for dealing with resource allocation problems, cost-benefit trade-off problems, and fixed requirements problems, as well as other problems having a similar mathematical formulation.